Hey, welcome back, guys. So this is gonna be our last presentation on this topic. Yes, we finally made it to the end of this wild roller coaster ride. I thank you for paying so much attention. So we already tackled simple and continuous, right? And we're talking about future perfect, right? So in this case, we're gonna tackle simple versus continuous. We're gonna talk about the differences and similarity that they both share. Okay, so strap in, and hopefully this is gonna clarify any remaining doubts that you might have. Here we go. When we want to talk about both of these, we need to put them side by side so we can see the full picture. So we have on the left the simple, and then on the right we have the continuous, right? So what's the difference? Let's imagine we're using both of them for future actions, right? Both future actions, like we can see on the simple side. This is the now, and both of these are going to be in the future. When we're talking about the simple, the first future action is going to finish before the second future action, okay? And we can see it right there. So that is what we use the future perfect simple for. But what would be the difference with future perfect continuous? Okay, well, let's see on the right. We have both of these actions are happening in the future, right? However, the first future action is not going to end before the second future action. Okay, that would be the difference. So in this case, the first action will continue until the second future action. So you guys can see, you can see it being represented by this line right there. So in this case, he's still studying. Okay, by the time she's gonna call him, it's not gonna stop until the second future action. All right. So that's the difference between uses. Now let's go into the structures. So first we are gonna analyze the simple one. So this is the structure for the simple one. We just gotta remember that we need the past participle, so practice the past participle verbs there. And then we're gonna go with our continuous one. So for continuous, remember that anytime you hear continuous, we're almost always dealing with a verb with ing. When I say almost always, I mean always. We always deal with a verb with ing. Okay. And I promise you, as long as you have these structures with you when you're making your sentences, or you have them already memorized, which would be even better, you're not going to be making any mistakes in terms of making a sentence. Okay, so make sure you practice with these and you use them when you have to build your sentences, and you're going to do a fantastic job. All right, so here are the differences. Check them out, and let's go. The last section we want to cover are time markers. So you guys already remember these. We have by the time, when, and before. These are just some examples, okay? And we have a sentence as an example underneath, and it says, by the time she calls me, I'll have finished my homework, all right? So we have to always remember that we need to add like a time marker. Remember that in some cases it's a certain time or it can be another action, right? But in the case of this one, we're adding by the time. Just remember that this cannot stand on its own. Imagine I remove this and I just have, I'll have finished my homework. If I just say that, that does not make sense. I always need like this section to make, like, without this clause, it's not going to make sense on its own. All right, just always keep that in mind. And then lastly, we just want to cover that this happens with both of them. But as you guys remember, we can start with one or we can start with the other. The only difference is that when we're starting with the time clause, we have a comma right there where you can see it. And if we want to start like backwards, we can. But in this case, we don't use any commas right there. Okay. So always remember, you can start one way or the other. It doesn't really matter. It's really up to you. But as long as you're adding the comma when you need to, that's all that we can ask for. Okay. So use whichever one makes you feel more comfortable and whichever one you think you have the most dominated. And that's it, guys. So at this moment, if you don't have any questions, that would be it. Just remember to make a mind map or a concept map about this, like these final details that we just saw right now. This is going to greatly help you when it comes time to work on the project and just being able to make a difference between when we use each one. All right. But if you still have any questions, make sure that you do ask me in our live session. And that would be it, guys. I do thank you for joining and paying the most attention that you possibly can. Here are the sources, they're still the same ones. But that would be it for me. Thank you and peace. Take care. See you later.